get started with the basics. What brought your family to South Phoenix?
What brought my family to South Phoenix? Well, it began with my mother's parents, who actually were married and were living in Georgia, and from what I understand, got in a Model T and came out here in the early 20s.
Oh, wow.
And they settled at 20th Street and South Mountain Avenue in a rented mud shack
Wow.
where they lived and I have some photographs I'll share with you.
1920s?
In the early 20s. And then then they started their family, which was my uncle and then my mother, and so it was the only two children. And then in the end of the 20s into the early 30s, they ended up with a piece of the Bartlett Herd Ranch. I believe it's called, I wasn't sure if ranch was on there, but you could, it was like homestead. And yeah, no, it wasn't a subdivision. You got 3 acres.
Right.
Milk cow and some chickens.
Was it there was a citrus tract, there was Roosevelt East and Roosevelt, like they had all these different names.
Right, we were Roosevelt East because it was right on the corner of 7th Street and Sunland, and the house is still there. It's on the northeast corner.
7th and Sunland.
You wouldn't recognize it because in its heyday it was quite a house. And my grandfather designed the house, and you'll understand here in a minute, he designed it after a barn.
Oh.
So he had 1 bedroom downstairs and a bathroom, and the kitchen and the living space and everything else was upstairs. Several bedrooms upstairs with a screened-in porch. Most people in Phoenix, because it was prior to any air conditioning, even swamp coolers, and so if you go into the older areas of Phoenix, and especially in the downtown area, where people had car garages, on the top they would have a screened-in porch. And what you would do is hang your wet sheets up at night and then go to bed, and it would cool it down for sleeping. But they weren't quite dealing with the same heat that we're dealing with now, very different.
What did your grandparents do?
Well, my grandfather was in the military. He served in the Army. And
World War I?
yes, and I think he did some stuff in World War II, but I don't think it was anything outside of the States. But sort of, he was kind of a interesting man. He was, during Prohibition, he was running, he was making beer and spirits and wine. And to this day, I guess he buried it all underground right on his property. Well, some of it I'm sure could be buried under 7th Street. And so he tunneled